Hello everybody, and welcome to Southbound, an NFL podcast by a couple of Saints fans that are maybe a little depressed about how the Saints season's going. It's been tough for sure. Um, I we cover the entire NFL as a whole. Kind of focus more on the NFC South and specifically on the New Orleans Saints. And if you're wondering who we are, that would be myself, Quacker, and my partner in crime, Matt, who is unable to join us again tonight. Um, this is a solo episode. We try not to do these too often, but things happen sometimes, and this is kind of where we are right now. So we're going to take a quick look back at this past week's games. First, before we do that, we'll start out with some news and notes from this past week. So, starting out, Mark Andrews, tight end for the Baltimore Ravens, has received a 3-year extension worth $39.3 million. This is, he's considered one of the all-time Ravens already at this point. Definitely is. I would say he is the go-to receiver for Lamar Jackson. A great safety blanket for him for sure. This is a well-earned extension for Andrews here. Quarterback Darius Slay has been claimed off of waivers by the Buffalo Bills after he was waived by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Bills have released cornerback Jamarcus Ingram to make room for Slay on the roster. Chiefs left tackle Josh Simmons is out at least 4 games after having wrist surgery to repair his left wrist that was dislocated and fractured. He will be moved to the injured reserve list for at least the next 4 games. Justin Herbert, quarterback for the Chargers, recently had surgery on his left wrist, but he was able to practice on Wednesday and is preparing to play on Monday night against the Eagles. And then finally, as everybody knows, last week was Thanksgiving, so we had the traditional games on Thanksgiving, the Cowboys games, the Lions game, which the Lions game always starts it off. So the Cowboys-Chiefs game, well, let's start off with this. The Packers-Lions game set a record for the most watched game in NFL history, and they kept that record for about 3 hours. The Packers-Lions averaged 47.7 million, making it at the time the most watched game in NFL history. And then the Cowboys and Chiefs came along, and they set a record as the most watched regular season game in NFL history with a 57.23 million. So, as good as the Lions-Packers game was, as good as the audience was for that one, the Chiefs-Cowboys game was just even bigger. This was 2 prominent franchises, both of them trying to stay relevant, trying to stay in the playoff picture, made for a compelling game for sure. And you were able to see that everybody hates on the Cowboys. They're not my favorite team by any stretch of the imagination, but they still draw a crowd. And the same thing for the Chiefs, right? I mean, a lot of people hate on the Chiefs, but they still tune in to watch them play. So, not surprised to see that the Cowboys and Chiefs were able to draw such a large audience there. Now, we're going to talk about those games real quick. The Packers went to Detroit. Detroit was my NFC pick at the beginning of the season for who I thought would make it to the Super Bowl out of the NFC. They're not doing too good right now. The Packers went in and won the game 31-24. The Packers moved to 8-3 on the season, 8-3-1, and the Lions are 7-5. Then you had the Chiefs go to Dallas to play the Cowboys. The Chiefs lost the game 31-28. It moves the Chiefs to 6-6, and the Cowboys to 6-5-1. And then to cap out Thanksgiving night, the Cincinnati Bengals in Joe Burrow's return to action from the turf toe injury. The Bengals came out and played a heck of a game. It won the game 32-14, moves the Bengals to 4-8 on the season, and the Ravens are 6-6. At the time, it moved them into second place in the division. That didn't last very long. They're back in first place. But, you know, we talk about in college football, the ACC is like the conference somebody wants to win. Well, it seems like the AFC North is the division nobody wants to win. Like it's not been a good not a good division this year. And there always seems to be one division that just nobody can seem to pull away. Doesn't seem like any team's going to have a winning record that year. There's still a few weeks left, you know, for teams to turn around here in that division. But as of right now, it's a big cluster, and it's not looking like a division that anybody's just going to pull away in. We had the Friday. We had what they call the Black Friday games. The Bears went to Philly to take on the Eagles. And quietly, the Bears are, you know, one of the best teams in the league this year. The Bears won 24-15. That puts the Bears record at 9-3 on the season, and the Eagles at 8-4. And then on Sunday, the 49ers went out to Cleveland. They won this one. No surprise here. The 49ers won 26-8. Spoiled Shedeur Sanders' home debut as a starter. The Browns are definitely in contention right now for a top 5 draft pick. I say that I'm not sure if they still have a first round draft pick or not, but the record wise, they're in contention for that spot. The Jacksonville Jaguars went to Nashville to take on the Titans. The Jaguars easily won 25-3. Puts the Jaguars at 8-4. The Titans at 1-11. Right now, they have a firm grasp on the number 1 draft pick. The Houston Texans went into Indianapolis and pulled out a squeaker, 20-16. This puts the Texans at 7-5, and the Colts at 8-4. Now the news came out of this game that Colts quarterback Daniel Jones has got an injured foot. I want to say it was like I'm trying to remember what the injury is now. I saw where he's playing with like this 3D printed brace for his foot. Let's see. It just has listed as a lower leg injury on this article here. Also in the game, Colts cornerback Sauce Gardner, who they just traded for, suffered a right calf injury on the Colts' second defensive snap of the game. So that definitely was not good. Sauce is a really good player. You hate to see him out. Hopefully he returns before long. The Colts' momentum has kind of come to a screeching halt right now. Hope to see them be able to pick it back up and get back to their winning ways. It's fun seeing the Colts be good. They if Daniel Jones is really hurt, maybe they lean on the running game even more than they have been. To carry them through until they become more of a balanced offense again. Moving on to the Falcons going to the Jets. Another case of we don't know who the Falcons are. 1 week they're really good. They've beaten teams that you would think there's no way they're going to beat them. And then they have a game like this where they lose to the Jets 27-24. Jets kicker Nick Folk hit a 56-yard field goal on the final play to lift the Jets to the win. The Buccaneers went to Arizona went to Tampa Bay. Tampa won the game 20-17. Jacoby Brissett continues to play well, but they just can't win. Disappointing to see. The Rams went to the Panthers, and this is another team that you can't figure out. The Panthers are just they're beating teams that you wouldn't think they should be able to beat, like the Rams. They beat the Rams 31-28, and they also lost some games where you're scratching your head thinking there's no way they should have lost this game. The Vikings went to Seattle and got blanked. 26-0. The Vikings, they decided they didn't want to keep Sam Darnold. So Sam Darnold decided to show out against them a little bit. He didn't have a ton of yards in this game, but he led this team to victory over his old team. The Vikings were one of the best teams in the NFL last year, and now, again, they're a team that's fighting for a top 5 draft pick. J.J. McCarthy is really struggling right now at quarterback. So that's tough to see if you're a Vikings fan. Because you had a team last year that it was one of the best. They're one game away from having home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Unfortunately for the Vikings, they lost in I think the first round. Sam Darnold kind of fell apart there at the end of the season, and I think that's why they were comfortable moving away from him. But now you're looking at it going, maybe they should have not been quite so eager to move on. The Bills went to the Steelers and had an easy win, 26-7. You had Aaron Rodgers playing this game. He had a cast on his left hand, his non-throwing hand. And at some point in the game, I don't remember what point in the game it was, but he went down face first, and he had a cut on his nose. He had a couple cuts on his nose. They had to bandage it up, kept him out of the game for a little while. The Bills were kind of in control throughout the game. They were losing at halftime, but they came out and easily won this game. Josh Allen sets the record for rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in regular season, passing Cam Newton. So, the Bills really needed this one to stay in the playoff race, and the Steelers, they were in first place in the division going into this game. By losing it, they dropped back to second place. And I think they're right now kind of on the outside looking in. If I remember right, I haven't looked at the playoff standings as of today, which I know hasn't changed since Monday, but I can't remember what the settings were, or what the standings were at the end of that game. Then you had the Raiders head out to LA to play the Chargers. The Chargers, again, easy win, 31-14. And then a really, really great game. I watched this one from beginning to end. Broncos went to Washington. The 9-2 Broncos went to face the 3-8 Commanders, and needed overtime in a batted ball on a 2-point conversion to win the game 27-26. This was one heck of a game. Marcus Mariota played an incredible game. The Broncos played well too. I'm not gonna take anything away from them, but the Chargers really showed a lot of heart in this game. They're playing with quite a few injuries, and this is just an incredible game. One of the best catches that I've ever seen took place in this game. And then you go to Monday night, and you have the Giants visit the Patriots, and the Patriots, they easily won this game 33-15. And honestly, the Patriots at 11-2 look like the best team in the NFL right now. Great hire, bringing in Mike Vrabel as head coach. Drake May has really taken off from year one to year two. He's playing at an MVP level right now. Kayshon Boutte looked amazing in the game. He had some incredible plays, made some really good catches in the end zone. He almost had a hat trick in the game, which would have been really cool to see. They just look absolutely great right now. And then the one game I didn't talk about because I was wanting to save it to last was the Saints went to Miami to play the Dolphins, and the Dolphins won 21-17. The Saints put up a fight in this one. Tyler Shucks playing pretty well. The defense let the Saints down on this one. The run defense really struggled for the Saints. But I tell you what, they scored a touchdown late in the game, went for two, and unfortunately the pass was intercepted and run back for a 2-point conversion for the Dolphins, because it was 19-17 at the time. The Dolphins pull ahead by 4. Well, the Saints went for an onside kick and recovered it. That's almost impossible to do at this point, to recover an onside kick, but the Saints did it. It was reviewed. It was close to being an illegal touch, and the refs didn't have enough to overturn it. They said that it was touched by a Dolphins player before the Saints player recovered it. I watched the replay several times. I never could see if it was touched or not, but I wasn't going to argue it. I wouldn't have done any good for me to argue it or not. I was at home watching on TV, so they wouldn't care what I thought anyway. But the Saints, you're seeing some things that kind of make you go, okay, if they have a couple more playmakers, on the team, I could see them being, making some improvements. If they have some more line help here, have a couple of things here and there, I can see them turning this around. Maybe not being what the Patriots are this year, going into next year, but I could see the turnaround and competing for, a spot in the playoffs, as a wild card or even as a division winner. It's as the breadth of talent as the Saints roster is, and you hear that, and what? It's the NFL roster. It is, but they're not elite in any position. Receiver, they're not elite. And if you're a Saints fan, listen to this. Don't get mad. I like Chris Olave as much as anybody else does, but he's not an elite receiver. He's a good receiver, but he's not elite. The defensive line at one point was the best in the NFL. At this point, they've aged a lot. Nobody's exceeding expectations. Cam Jordan's still playing very well especially for his age. But it's not the level he was 5 years ago. The linebacker core, Demario Davis, he's still probably the best player on the defense. But again, he's no spring chicken, right? I mean, it feels weird saying about somebody that's younger than I am, but in terms of the NFL, he's starting to kind of age out. But again, he's still playing very well for his age, and I haven't seen a lot of signs of him, aging out. He's a little slower than he used to be. He's not covering quite as well as he used to downfield. But I can't fault him that because he's in his mid to late 30s at this point. So there are some things that the Saints are going to have to do to definitely get better. But you're seeing some things that if you're a Saints fan, they're giving you hope. So I'm not ready for the season to be over, but I am ready to see what they're going to do in the off season, how they're going to improve the roster, and move forward. What they can do to bring in some younger talent, some maybe better talent, to see where this franchise can go under the current regime. Kellen Moore, I think he's going to wind up being a good head coach. He's got Brandon Staley on the staff as defensive coordinator. Of course, he was the Chargers head coach. So, he's got some head coaching experience on the staff to lean on. It's not just him having to learn everything on the fly. So, that's a big bonus for him. And I know he's got other mentors and stuff he can lean on as well. But having somebody in the building who's been a head coach before, that's definitely a plus. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump to this week and just kind of go through the games that are coming up. We're going to start with tomorrow night's game. You have the Cowboys going to the Lions. This is the Thursday night 7:15 kickoff game. Detroit's favored by 3. This is kind of a pick'em thing here, but Cowboys been playing really good lately. The Lions have kind of been staggering a little bit coming down the stretch here. So, this is one I can see this going either way. The Lions, I feel like the Lions need to win this game more than the Cowboys do. I'm trying to pull up the the Cowboys really don't have a chance of making the play. I mean, there's a chance, but it's a lot lower than the Detroit's. But Detroit's got a lot of work to do to try to secure a spot in the playoffs. So, to me, this game means more for the Lions. So selfishly, I want to see the Lions win because I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. So, it's just one of those things where, it's just personally just want to see the Lions win just because I want to be right. Moving on to Sunday, December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. The Saints go to the Buccaneers. This is the 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock window, depending on if you're Eastern or Standard Time. Saints 2-10. It's Buccaneers 7-5. Tampa Bay with 8.5. They're picked to win by 8.5. You have Seattle coming to Atlanta. Of course, Seattle's 9-3. The Falcons are 4-8. Seattle's a 7-point favorite. Bengals going to the Bills. Bengals 4-8. Bills 8-4. Buffalo's a 5.5-point favorite. You have the Titans going to the Browns. Titans 1-11. Cleveland is 3-9. Cleveland's a 4.5 point favorite. Washington going to the Vikings. Minnesota's a 2.5 point favorite. I honestly think the Commanders are going to go into this game and win. 2.5, you're basically at a push there. I really think that Washington, after really what they played this past Sunday night, and I know it's not apples to apples there, but I really think that the Commanders will carry forward some momentum here and be able to go in and get the W there. And I if you've watched this, watched our program any, that I love to look at ticket prices here. And I just noticed ticket prices for the Titans-Browns game start at $8 to get in the gate. That's incredibly cheap for a NFL game. So if you're in Cleveland, you got nothing else going on Sunday, go check out the game. All right. Moving on, you have the Dolphins headed up to New York to play the Jets. Dolphins 5-7, Jets 3-9. Miami's 2.5 point favorite. The Colts are headed to Jacksonville. Colts 8-4, Jacksonville 8-4. Indy's 1.5 point favorite. Steelers are headed to Baltimore. Both teams are 6-6. Baltimore's a 6 point favorite. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. The way that the Steelers have kind of gone downhill. This feels like a fair spread here. I would probably pick the Ravens to win this game. Increase their lead in the division a little bit there. You got the Broncos headed to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Broncos 10-2, Raiders are 2-10. Denver's 7.5 point favorite. I'd expect and this is the first of the 3 o'clock window games here. In fact, this is the only 3:05 game, or if you're East Coast, 4:05. Denver being a 7.5 point favorite. That's probably pretty fair, especially since the Raiders' offense has been just atrocious this year, and the Broncos' defense is pretty much the best in the NFL this year, especially second to quarterback. 3:25. You have the Bears playing the Packers. This feels like I want to say. Let me look this up real quick just to double check. Let's see. This is the second oldest rivalry in the NFL. I was going to say it was the oldest, but it's not. They have the Bears and the Cardinals, which I wouldn't really consider that a rivalry, but they have it listed as the oldest rivalry. But they started playing in 1920. The Bears and Packers started playing in 21. So, second oldest rivalry in the NFL. The Bears 9-3, Packers 8-3-1. Green Bay's a 6.5 point favorite. With this being a home game, I would probably lean toward the Packers in this one. But the Bears are playing very, very well. It would be hard to. I think it's been a really good game here. It'd be hard to lean either way on this one to figure out who would win. Wow. Yeah, I think the Packers win, but I think it's a close game. I think it's a really good game. Also in the 3:25 window, you have the Rams going to the Cardinals. The Rams were 7.5 point favorite. Giving the Rams all day, and I would take them to cover that. Easily cover that. Stafford still playing at an MVP level. 32 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions on the season. The nightcap for the Sunday game, the Houston Texans going to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. The Texans are 7-5. The Chiefs are 6-6. Kansas City is a 3.5-point favorite. The Texas defense is right there as one of the best in the NFL. The Chiefs are really struggling. I'm calling for the upset in this one. The Chiefs are 3.5-point favorite. This will be a mild upset, but I think the Texans go into Kansas City and come out with the win. And then the Monday night game, you have the Phillies going out to San Diego. Wow. Going out to LA to play the Chargers. Both teams are 8-4. Philly's a 3-point favorite. I think you could see the Chargers win this game, depending on how healthy Herbert is in this game. With the broken wrist or the injured wrist, I don't know how much he scrambles in this game. That's a big part of his game is his mobility. How much is he going to be limited or hesitant to run with an injured wrist like that? That's one to I think it's gonna be a really good game. Too close to call on that one. The Eagles got to get their run game going to have a chance to win this one. To me, I've heard a lot of talk about Saquon this year. I haven't got to watch a lot of the Eagles games and stuff. Yardage wise, he looks like he's kind of right on with some of the better backs in the league this year, but he's not on the pace he was last year for sure. All right, your bye week teams: the Patriots, Giants, 49ers, and Panthers. All right, well, kind of a abbreviated episode tonight. Again, it's just me, so nobody to bounce stuff off of, nobody to kind of riff-raff with the games and stuff. So hopefully we're back on a normal schedule. I know we won't be on air tomorrow night. I think we're going to try to record Saturday morning. And hopefully next week we're back to a regular schedule. So if you want to watch, please, we'd love for you to join us for our college podcast, Alumni House. We mainly focus on the 5 conferences of the South, the American Conference, the ACC, the Conference USA, Sun Belt, and SEC. Now that we're getting into conference championship games and bowl season, we'll kind of expand out to cover nationally a little more. But yeah, we'd love to have you. Please join us, and we will see you next time.